Hello, greeting from tropical China. I am Dosa, and in the next 10 minutes or so, I will be talking about impact of liana on forest biogeochemistry through their lives and afterlives. Before starting, allow me to acknowledge all of my co-authors. You could see their names on this slide. And also, thanks to ATBC 2022 organizing committee for giving me the chance to present. Well, these following are the points that I will cover during my present talk. I will talk about the physiognomy of forest, the effect of disturbance and climate change on the forest ecosystem. I will move on discussing what are the differences between trees and liana in terms of nutrient contents of the tissues. I will then argue about what are the potential research questions that are still remaining to tackle, and I will give two case studies and conclude my talk. This nice chart from Spicer et al., published in Ecology in 2020, illustrates perfectly differences between temperate and tropical forests. For example, tropical forests are richer in species than temperate forests. These tropical forests have more proportion of liana and much complex vertical structure. In terms of research, tropical forests lag behind their counterparts. However, tropical forests' capability to store carbon and to provide ecosystem services surpasses temperate forest one. Tropical forest ecosystem constitute the most important global reservoir of terrestrial biodiversity. They store up to 30% of Earth's terrestrial carbon. But in contrary, while facing disturbance such as deforestation, land use change, fragmentation, tropical forest sensitivity is weaker. Together, disturbances such as climate change, fire, logging could directly and indirectly affect demographic processes, for example, growth and mortality. This in turn will shift forest community in terms of diversity, composition, structure, even functional traits, and consequently will lead to the reduction of ecosystem processes such as carbon stock, nutrient cycles, etc. In fact, increasing report available now shows that these disturbances are negatively impacting crucial ecosystem services such as carbon sequestration and climate regulation. One of the striking consequences of disturbances observed is the proliferation of liana, especially in the new tropics. Lianas, woody vines which use self-supporting trees for mechanical support but have their own root system, are among the most abundant plant woody growth forms in both tropical and subtropical forests. Until recently, however, compared to trees, liana were neglected in forest ecology due to the difficulty of identifying them from the ground and the problem of access to the forest canopy. However, they are functionally crucial for forest ecology and ecosystem services for several reasons. First, among all growth forms that occur in tropical forests, liana seems to benefit most from disturbance. Second, liana represents up to 30% of plant diversity in tropical forests, and they are phylogenetically diverse. Despite contributing less than 5% to the total forest biomass, they contribute up to 40% of foliage biomass, up to 50% of fruit and seed biomass production. Third, liana play a special role in providing key ecosystem functioning such as carbon sequestration, nutrient and water cycling. This slide shows a classic case of an increase of liana density in the left panel and a decrease of carbon storage with an increase of liana abundance in the right panel. This indicates that lianas proliferation is reducing carbon storage at ecosystem level. We know that this situation has led past research interests in liana to mostly focus on liana impact on forest structure and function while they're alive, but neglected after-life impact, which are the effects of structure and biochemical traits that persist after the tissues have died. We need to better understand how liana alter carbon and nutrient cycling both while alive and after death. Almost 10 years ago, van der Heyden showed that liana reduced tree growth, survival, and leaf productivity. They mentioned that liana decreased total ecosystem uptake of carbon. By then, the information related to dead wood, either coarse or fine, was lacking. Recently, Menu et al. 2022 carried out what they name as virtual liana removal experiment by combining short-term empirical data with long-term calibration model to actually revisit earlier conclusion about liana contribution to carbon cycle. They found that indeed earlier conclusions were correct. Liana do reduce ecosystem carbon sink. They reduce gross and net primary productivity. But the striking finding was that liana have profound impact on below ground processes such as soil carbon dynamics. What then do we know when it comes to nutrient content in different tissues of lianas and trees? The micro and macronutrient concentration of liana leaves usually exceed those of trees. Liana leaves tend to be structurally less tough than those of trees. Liana leaves show lower leaf mass per unit area and lower leaf dry mass content. Liana fresh leaves have higher nitrogen, higher specific leaf area. Unfortunately, studies on the chemical differences between liana and trees are biased toward leaves. We are yet to appreciate such differences in other tissues such as bark, wood, and roots. In the following slide, I will show an overview of liana in the forest. On these panels, I wish to make case for more interest and research on lianas. These panels are exhibiting special features of liana. Liana can grow on limestone soil. They can be giant like Spatolobos. They invest less in structural wood. Liana can redistribute litter and nutrient within forests. Liana can pull together several individuals of trees. They can create gaps as depicted by the falling down of this snag, perhaps due to senescence and heavy load of liana on top of the crown. Well, liana experience different selective pressures from gravity and invest less in building structural wood as they have lower requirement for compressional and rotational strength. Therefore, liana generally have relatively low wood density, which is linked to their fast growth and short lifespan as compared to trees. Liana leaves, stem, and branches may occupy vertical and horizontal space differently compared to trees. They are good exploiters of space. Recently, Schneider 2018 made a case for ecological research on liana, suggesting this growth form to be used to test ecological theories. We agree and add to this that liana represents an excellent study system for answering fundamental ecological questions about afterlife processes such as decomposition. Liana leaves exhibit a wide range of traits which could be used to examine leaf litter level complementary the effect. Can liana leaves enhance forest litter quality? Do liana litter produce a priming effect on forest litter decomposition at stand level? Much of litter, whether it's liana or tree, is suspended, which provide an opportunity to examine effect of position on organic matter decomposition. Does litter on the ground decompose faster than that suspended in the canopy? And in the following 2 slides, I will introduce 2 case studies about this. In this first case study, where we are looking at liana litter versus tree litter decomposition, we found that liana leaf litter decompose faster than trees litter. We also found that decomposition rate was negatively correlated with leaf dry matter content. The second case study that I highlight here is the one that is looking at the position effect on decay. So we have hung some samples at 4 meter high and have some on the ground, and we are looking at how actually this position will affect the decomposition process. Improved understanding of liana ecology is important to anticipating the future of tropical forests and their responses to environmental change, yet empirical studies on liana afterlives are lacking. Although an understanding of afterlife effect is crucial, that is what we argue about here. And with that, I would like to thank you for listening to me, and also to thank all of the agents that helped me financially to conduct this research. Any question?